everyone. How are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do a paint with me. This is my baby's first paint with me. So I'm working on this mandala diamond painting. So I figured I've got it on my light pad here. Figured I'd give it a whirl here. Got wax in a diamond. If you get a diamond dots thing from Michael's, you'll get one of these cool containers with the D's on it like that, and it's got wax already in it. So I'm going to save the container, I think, so that I can stick wax in it, because I like having it in a container like that. So I thought I would follow Danielle's lead, Stitcherista's lead, and answer a tag or something while I'm trying to do this, because that's a smart idea. Otherwise you'd be listening to me babble about nothing. Oh, and if you see some black fur like this right here, that's Sophia. That's my girl. She's got to be with me all the time. Don't you, girl? Yes, you do. She can't leave me alone. Not even for a minute. No, can't be done. So yeah, if you see that, oh, and a nose and an eye and whiskers, like that, yeah, there we go. Oh, Sophia, you're so bad. It's like, I know it, but I'm your cat, so I can do whatever I want. There's a little song in our house that says, I am Sophia and I do what I want. Because it's the truth, isn't it? Anyway, so I thought I would answer an appropriate tag, your first time YouTube tag. So let's do this. I've got some diamonds going on here, so let's hopefully be able to talk and look for symbols at the same time. I think I can. I think I can. Okay, number one. Favorite fall scent. Favorite fall scent. I don't know if it's like a distinct smell. I couldn't say. Maybe what I like more about when fall comes is the kind of feeling in the air, that kind of crispness that happens in the air. I kind of like that. So I think it's just because it feels refreshing after the long, very hot, sometimes really humid summers. So I like that. I like that feeling, because it's like, oh, deep cleansing breath. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Okay, number two. Coffee, tea, or hot chocolate? I like all of those. On a regular day, when I get up, I have to take our daughter into school, and I have to take my husband into work, because, well, there's a reason for that. Because my husband is not the greatest driver in the world. He'll be the first one to admit that too. He's not above that. But anyway, last year we've had two cars for a while, because we lived in a bigger city and my husband, he was a criminal defense lawyer, basically for I always joke and say, if ever you watched Better Call Saul, which is the spin-off of Breaking Bad, if you want any kind of a sense of how it is to be a criminal defense lawyer, in the States I think they call it public defender. Here we just say it's court-appointed lawyer, so legal aid. Pays for the file, so the government is paying for the lawyer's time to defend a person who has committed like a petty crime. I mean, I guess you could have a public defender if you'd committed a serious crime, but my husband was a pretty new lawyer at the time, and you really don't want a big time file when you're first starting out, obviously. So he was dealing with petty crime, petty criminals, which there were lots of where we were living. There were just so many. It was disturbing. So he was a busy guy, and as such, he would go around all over the place, and which meant he would have to go into different parts of the city in Vancouver, and different courthouses and whatever, to meet with clients, go to hearings, all that stuff. Run the odd trial every now and then, but not usually, because they were legal aid. Legal aid is all based on time. So if your file has X amount of hours and you use them all up, then that's basically it, unless you're granted some more funding. Now, I know it's kind of a lot of backstory, but there is a reason for it. We used to have one car when we lived on Vancouver Island, because we lived on the South Island in Victoria, which is a small city. I mean, it's a city, but it's small. Which was fine. You could get by with one car pretty well because their transit system was really, really good. And you didn't need to have two cars as much. So we did that. We had one car so that we could have one kind of nicer car rather than two kind of crummier cars. So we did that for a long, long time. Then we moved to Surrey, which is kind of a part of Vancouver, but it's its own city. It's big. Where my husband did his criminal defense stuff, and he really needed to keep the car for himself like all day, because he had to travel from our house across like the Patello Bridge or the Port Mann, sometimes the Alex Fraser, and those were just so that he could get into Port Coquitlam, Vancouver itself, Coquitlam, and New Westminster, places like that. And they're kind of a distance away, and it was just too far from a SkyTrain station to take the SkyTrain instead. So he needed to have the car at his disposal for the day. And I cannot walk great distances. I get very, very sore very, very fast. I'm better now than I was, but still. So we needed to break down and get another car, which sucks because that just sends your costs through the roof, but that's what we had to do. So thankfully, in a way, we had my car. Well, the first winter when we moved here, see, we got spoiled in Victoria, because there, and in the Lower Mainland as well, it's very, very normal for the snow to fall, and then it pretty much immediately melts. So you don't need season-specific tires there. It's just not important. You can get by with all seasons. A pair of, reasonable all-season radials is fine. Here, though, most people, because we're that much further north, most of us need 2 sets of tires per vehicle. So you need a winter set and then an all-season set. Because in the winter here, it gets icy. you can probably tell where I'm going with this. So, the first winter we were here, my husband took our daughter to school, which is up a hillside. So, he came home after that. See, normally he wouldn't do that. Normally he would just drop her off and carry on to work, right? Well, not this morning. This morning we'd gotten some snow. There was some ice on the road. You get where I'm going here? He lost control of the car coming down a hill. And he bumped into, well, didn't bump into, he smashed into a pole. He said it was either the pole or I would hit another person, so I decided I would just hit a pole instead. And I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. You could make that decision while you're in the middle of losing control. But anyway, glad that you hit a pole and didn't, involve someone else and get them hurt. So he was pretty banged up. I mean, he was fine, but he was, he got whiplash and stuff like that because he lost control, so he was going really fast for downhill. And the insurance company, looked at the car. I took my car up, brought him up to show him, or to go and see and wait for the tow truck. And yeah, his car, the front end was just like, it looked like a piece of paper crumpled up. So I was like, ooh, I can see the engine block and stuff. Like, the engine block is damaged and stuff. I'm like, they're not going to fix that. No way. It's too expensive. It's more than the car's worth. And lo and behold, insurance agreed with that thought of mine. So instead they gave him kind of the balance owing on the car and said, go away, kind of a thing. Which is fine, because we still had our own vehicle, another vehicle to use while all of this was being processed and whatever. So, yeah. So on mornings like the morning where he smashed into that pole, I really like coffee because I need to get up and go. On regular kind of wintry mornings when I don't have a lot of stuff on my mind to do, then I will I'll just go for probably tea, and I will have hot chocolate if my daughter hasn't drank it all, because she loves hot chocolate. That's her thing. Although she does like coffee too. She's 9, but she likes it. I'm like, well, you are. Oops. I said, well, you are half Italian, or I guess she's a quarter Italian actually. Oh, I'm making a mess of this. Excuse my hands if they're in your face, which they kind of are. So yeah, I like all three. But yeah, my husband, he gets into accidents all the time. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Not all the time, but when he does, they're bad. I'm kind of the same way. I don't tend to get into accidents, but when I do, they're unpleasant. So, anyhow. Best, number 3 is, what's your best fall memory? Best fall memory. Man. I don't have any really good fall memories. No, all the good stuff happened in the summer when I was a kid and I still made memories. No, I don't really. Fall, winter are kind of harder seasons, I guess because I have borderline personality disorder. So moods can be, I'm easily confused with those who have manic depression, or just regular depression, because my moods can really fluctuate. And when I get depressed. I just kind of stay there, like someone with the more common diagnosis of depression. So, yeah, fall and winter, they can really bring you down, especially if you live in like, I mean, it's less bad here because here we just get lots of snow, whereas in Victoria and Vancouver, there's just massive amounts of rain around those parts. That part of the province is called the lower, some people joke and call it the lower rainland instead of mainland, because it's actually a rainforest, technically. So that's kind of a little joke there that people talk about, but it does, it really kind of wears you down after a while, you know, because of the gray. And yeah, if you have ever been to England during their winter, that's what it's like here too. It's very much the same. It's cold and it's gray. It's probably why they call it British Columbia. Anyway, so I don't really have any good memories. They're all kind of bad memories, really. Moving on. 4. Which makeup trend do you like best? Dark lips or winged eyeliner? That's a good one. When I was young, I listened to the radio. I used to wear more eyeliner, winged eyeliner, because and I did wear actual winged eyeliner. Like, it was before everybody was doing it, because, you know, it was the 90s and nobody was doing that. So I used to do that because lipstick comes off. Even if you put lip primer on and liner and all of that, you still end up with ugly looking lipstick after a while. And in those days, lipstick wasn't what it is now. So they didn't have like the liquid lipsticks that stay on for a really long time and don't come off on everything. And so I would stick with the liquid liner. That's what I would have picked back then. I still tend to pick that now, but lipstick being better now than it was, I'll go with a more bold lipstick if I'm going out somewhere or something. Nowadays, I don't really worry about makeup like I used to. That's for sure. Just because it's something we couldn't afford for a really long time, and yeah, we couldn't afford it for a really long time while my husband was practicing law as a sole practitioner and all that stuff. Oh, I realized that's what I was trying to answer with best fall memory, is that those are my kind of fall-winter memories, is my husband running into stuff and wrecking cars. It sucks. Anyway. 5. What's your favorite fragrance? Fragrance is an interesting one because scent is like one of our most powerful memory triggers. Oh, here's another kitty friend. Hi. Hello. This is Victoria. She's a tabby cat, aren't you? Yes, you are. A little peanut. She's Sophia's sister. Yeah, you're really cute. But I'm pretty sure yeah, there you go. Good girl. I'm gonna scratch your chair, Mommy, and destroy it. There are distinct fragrances that I would know. if I smelled them. Like, I have fond memories of my aunt overseas. Her name was Luigia, which is the feminine of Luigi. But her nickname for basically her whole life was Luigina, because she was, well, when she was younger anyway, she was, she was quite slim, and she was very beautiful and tall, really tall. By the time I knew her, she was in her 50s, and she was a great big old Italian woman. She was really stout by that. Well, no, I don't want to say stout because she was tall. But she was always very boisterous, and she loved cheeks and, you know, pinching your cheeks on your face. And, you know, it was kind of a stereotype. It was kind of funny and embarrassing at the same time because I was just a teenager. But I would recognize her smell if I walked into the old house where she used to live. Hey, Victoria, you're bratty. Yeah. I would recognize that smell. Unfortunately, she's passed away. I was in the hospital here sick when she died. She had cancer that metastasized from her breast to her liver, so it was a death sentence, unfortunately. But she had a tough life. She had a hard farm girl's life. So I'd remember that smell, but I don't know if it was a fragrance she wore or if it was just her natural body. I don't know. It was nice though. My Nona's cooking. Nona is in her 80s now, but she was a caterer for a while, quite a while actually, during my childhood. And because she's a phenomenal cook, she makes her own, she made her own tomato base, pasta sauce, and she made her own pesto as well. She and my grandfather grew amazing vegetables and herbs and things in their garden, and they ran a business. They catered traditional old style Italian parties, so weddings mostly, where there's a huge amount of guests. I mean, think of The Godfather, you know, that scene at the beginning of the Godfather series. Think of that with all the dancing and all the cars and all those people. That's what it was like. When I got old enough, when I was our daughter's age, I was about 9, I started actually working for her in the summers when I was there. I would serve tables. And it was awesome. It was really fun because the people were nice and basically knew who I was. It was like being royalty. So they're like, "Oh, you're Luciana's granddaughter." And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, you puri girl," which means you're a pretty girl. It just comes out puri when they say it a lot of times. So her cooking will always be, of course, very, very fond memory. She can't really cook much anymore because she needs a cane, and she's got mobility problems now with her. I think she's got a pinched nerve in her back because after she had a stroke and was bedridden for a while, you know, it messes with your back and stuff. Plus, she's in her 80s, so things are going to happen for her that are different than what would happen to you or I. So she can't do the standing that she needs to do to cook because things like spaghetti sauce and things take hours and hours of just patient cooking, just stirring and adding things in as you go, and just a lot of patience and a lot of stamina. So I know she loves it, though. She loves it. If she could cook, she would. She just can't anymore, so unfortunately. So she just criticizes our cooking instead. Whenever we try to do it, because nobody can cook like Nona. I mean, that was her livelihood, so. Another smell that is distinct that I used to love. Now I have to preface that. I used to really, really love it. Was my maternal grandmother. She always wore, it's a perfume called Opium. It's by Yves Saint Laurent. They started making it in the 70s. Come on, here we go. They started making it a long time ago, in the later 70s, I think they started making that scent. And they still make it today. She gets a new, really big bottle of it every Christmas. As like a special treat. Is there a hair on here? Looks like it. Ugh, it's annoying. I'll deal with it later. Let's see. Well, I don't know how to put it. We haven't spoken in, oh my God, probably a good 10 years. That is like a video into itself, that. Basically, or even a series like those Minecraft YouTubers make. Basically, I think what it comes down to is she developed a pretty serious alcohol problem. So she took it out on us, on all of us. She is one of those people that is a mean alcoholic. She's one way when she's sober, and one way when she is drunk. And not even when she's drunk. As soon as she's got a glass in her hand, she changes, you know? She's one of those types. She's not violent. She was always a small framed person. She too is very tall, but small frame. So she can never be like actually violent physically. So in its place, she's just mean. She used to say things to me when I was just a child, like, you have a big butt, and you look like a retard, and, I mean, these are her words, not mine. You know, you're fat, you're short, you're ugly, you know, just things that are mean. You don't say shit like that to a kid. It's just mean. There's no call for that. And my mom, being my mom, she's really shy, and she doesn't quite know how to handle confrontational situations. And she and her mom have quite a history of, like, coping together, so my mom didn't see it as something she could really speak up about to her mom. Because I used to start crying. Like, I would run to my room and just sit in there and just, like, cry about it, because I used to try, believe it or not, as a little kid, I used to try and lose weight before my grandmother would come visit, because I didn't want her to make fun of me. Like, that is demented. Like, that's not healthy. That's not normal. So when I became an adult and I moved to Victoria, which is where she lives, I said to my mom, I'm not doing anything, having anything to do with her. And she said, why? And I said, because don't you remember what the hell she put me through? She encouraged me in a way, to become bulimirexic, they call it. That was really, really harsh for a while there. I would eat and get sick, and then I would starve myself because I'd feel bad about it. It's kind of a mix of both starvation and binging. So, I said, you know, like, that's just wrong. I'm not having anything to do with that BS. I don't have to subject myself to it anymore, so I won't. And my mom has always kind of been uncomfortable with that. She thinks, it's, you know, family is family and blah, blah, blah. And I remember one afternoon telling her, you don't have anything to do with your dad because he's a drunken animal. Well, was. He died finally, but he was a drunken bum by the end of his life. I mean, he literally bought a van with a mattress in it so that he could go to his favorite dive bar, drink himself stupid, and then run into the van, or, you know, pour himself, I should say, into the van and pass out. Like, that's how much of a problem he had at the very end of his life. I mean, he was just gross, and he was a violent drunk. He would choke my mother like a tree, like a gallows. Like, he would hold her by the throat with his hand when she was just a kid, and lift her off the floor, like, you know, like he was going to hang her to death, and he was the tree. Like, it was just absolutely terrifying memories for my mom, which obviously makes sense. So I said, why is it okay to call him a drunken animal, but we can't even say that my grandma has an alcohol problem? That's a way more civilized thing, isn't it, to say? But my mom claims that grandma has stopped drinking because she was in the hospital for a staph infection. She developed a staph infection and lost a tremendous amount of weight. She went down to like 80 pounds. And, I mean, she's 5'9". So if you're 5'9", 80 pounds is like tremendously underweight. So, and the doctors, you know, of course, did all kinds of blood work and whatever, and they're like, okay, your liver panel is absolutely terrifying. What the hell is wrong? So she told them how much alcohol she consumed on a daily basis, which was significant, and she was taking Tylenol ones, which you can get here over the counter. They are the acetaminophen with codeine. Even though codeine is a narcotic, you can get it over the counter here in that dose, because those pills only have 8 milligrams of codeine in them, as opposed to Tylenol 3s, which have, I think, probably 20, I think. I can't recall. But I know for a fact that AC&C has 8 milligrams of codeine. But they have a lot of acetaminophen. They have about 350 milligrams per tablet. And that is hard on your liver. When you're taking 10 or 20 of those every day, as well as drinking 1.5 bottles or 2 bottles of wine every day, that's hard on your liver after, you know, years and years. So, anyway, wow, that was a long story. When I moved there to go to college and then university, I told my mom, I said, I'm not dealing with that. I don't have room for it in my life. I just don't, okay? And, I mean, finally, I think she's made sort of just some kind of peace with it, although she tells me whenever I visit her, just so you know, your grandma is still sober, and she's doing really good, and she doesn't have an urge to drink or anything, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's fine. You know, I always say, that's good. I'm glad. But I can't deal with it. I used to think I would be able to, but I just can't anymore. I'm just like, no. When you tell a 14-year-old girl that she's fat and ugly and that she won't amount to anything, that's absolutely inexcusably wrong, in my view. And I think most people would agree with me. You know, that's the perfect way to burn a bridge, I think. So, we don't talk. But her perfume, when I was a little kid, we were thick as thieves. She was so much fun. And we used to have so much fun together. But that was before she had a real problem with alcohol. But it just turned into a dependency, and then it just went ugly places. So unfortunately, now when I smell opium, Yves Saint Laurent opium, I don't like it at all. I feel repelled. I feel like that's a gross smell now, unfortunately, which is too bad, because on its face it's actually a nice fragrance, but I really, the association issues, just no. So, but my favorite perfume, and I have like a little tiny skiff of it left, I have to get some more, is Chanel No. 5. Always love that smell. That's a really good, really nice perfume. I've always really liked it. And Cody, my husband, gets me that stuff. And gets me Chanel No. 5, either Eau de Toilette or Eau de Parfum, which lasts longer. Or there's even a body wash, which I don't tend to use. I tend to use Eau de Parfum because it lasts longer than Eau de Toilette, and you just spray it on. But anyhow, so that would be my favorite one, though. Love that smell. Favorite, number 6 is favorite. What's my favorite Thanksgiving food? I don't know. I don't really like turkey and all that stuff that, we are supposed to like for Thanksgiving. I mean, I will eat it. My husband insists on having turkey dinners for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I mean, I'm not gonna say no, but I don't like it because I don't like all the waste. Because, I mean, you never eat it all. I mean, if we did, we'd be eating so much turkey, like, you'd be, I mean, it goes bad before you can eat it all. There's just too much. Even a small turkey is too much. And I only like the light meat. I don't like dark meat. I know I'm weird like that. I don't really like cranberry sauce. It's okay, but whatever. Mashed potatoes is nice. Some roast vegetables are good. I like those. So it's probably my favorite, the vegetables, really. 7. What did I write? What's autumn like? What's autumn like? Autumn is, here anyway, is kind of crisp. It's not really cold. It's, yeah, there's just a little bit of a bite in the air. And, but it's still sunny and nice here, so, in the autumn. So it's actually pretty nice. Number 8, it's my most worn sweater. I hate sweaters. I don't wear them. I don't like them. I get that from my dad. They itch. Even the cotton ones, I don't like them. 9, what is a must-have nail polish? Oh boy. I never do my nails anymore. Look at how terrible my hands are. I mean, they're just vile. That's just from years and years of biting my nails because I'm just nervous all the time, so I bite. I've been biting my nails since I was about 7. I just don't, I'm not very good at taking care of my hands. But I used to have, believe it or not, I'm gonna laugh about this, I used to own and operate a nail salon. Believe it or not. Pretty silly, but I did. And we used to use OPI. We used a lot of I'm Not Really a Waitress. It's red. It's a pretty one. Very popular. 10. Football or leaf piles. Probably leaf piles, but I'm not a sports or outdoorsy person. Number 11. Skinny jeans or leggings? Probably leggings, because ain't no way I'm getting into skinny jeans. 12. Combats or Uggs? Which one would I wear? Uggs, I'd say. My husband was in the army. I saw a lot of combat boots. And they're loud. 13. Pumpkin. Do I like pumpkin spice lattes, I think? No, I don't. I don't like pumpkin pie or anything that tastes like it. So no chai or anything either. Let's see. 14. Favorite fall TV show? I don't know. I don't really have a seasonal preference. Hello, Sophia. Yes, I know. I'm still sitting here. Crazy, right? I like all my shows. The Good Doctor is a really good one that's starting now, I think. And it's September now. 15. What song gets you in the fall spirit? Oh my gosh. I don't know. Probably, trying to think. What songs do I like? I don't have seasonally specific things. I should have picked a different tag, huh? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Thank you so much. That's the end of the tag.